What's up, what's up, what's up? This is your night with Aiden with another video. So this will be the paranormal video, the continuation of part one. So this will be video part two of the ghost story corner house. That happened to me in 2005. And if you saw that video, the last video that I did, where it finishes off, where I left for a carne asada party, where I left for a party, I left my mom at her house. Left my mom at the house, by herself. Wish she wasn't by herself. My sister was in her room, but she was just in her room. So I left my mom by herself in the living room. So yeah, that is gonna be continuing it from there. So get ready, get your popcorns ready. Hope you guys enjoy this video. I was gonna say also, if you guys have a scary story or something paranormal that happened to you when you were growing up as a kid or as a teenager, or something that you experienced in these days, or today, or last, or yesterday, something that you probably experienced while growing up, or now about paranormal, or something scary that happened to you, you can write me your story on my email down below in the description, so you guys can see my email there, and you guys can send me your stories, and then I would gladly make a video of it and tell it to the world. Make a video and tell your story. So if you guys have something that you guys experience, something like a scary moment or something, but it has to be true though. It can't be no fake or made up story, please. It just has to be real, for real. Like you really experienced it, just send me your letter, and I'll gladly make a video and let the world know about your story and what happened to you while you were experienced paranormal or experiencing some paranormal stuff. Because I believe it, and I believe in the paranormal, and because it happened to me, so now I believe it. So there we go. Hopefully you guys believe it too, that that real ghosts do exist. So, growing up wasn't easy, but hey, we still pulled through, so we're good. So yeah, this will be the continuation of part one. So this is part two of the ghost story corner house. Here we go. So I left at the party, and so my mom was staying there, right? And she was usually she hangs out in the living room, watches her telenovelas, her program called telenovela. Sorry, watching. She usually just sits there, eats some snacks while she watches her programs. So around 7, it starts like around 7. So she'll be chilling in the living room. Usually that's what we all do, But since it was Friday, I left to my friends because they're my friends. One of my friends texted me. They said, "Hey, we're gonna have a carne asada, you should just come through." And I'm like, "Oh shoot, okay, we'll see, we'll see. If you guys are gonna have some carne asada, might as well go, right?" It's gonna be good. So I'm like, "Yeah, let's roll." So I left. I left. It was like around close to being 6:30 to 7. So I left, and I left my mom. So I didn't tell her anything. That's where I left off on the last video about me leaving without telling her that I was gonna leave. So that I was gonna go to a party. So I just left. I vanished. The back, right where I have my room. My room was that third room at the end of the hallway in my house, close to the garage. There was that door going through the garage, going inside the garage, and then there's like that other door right where the light turns on, where I told you guys on my last video, where when you open the door or when you cross, the light above that door flashes while somebody goes through. So that light flashed, and I still kind of like, when I went through there to leave, I looked up and I was like, I was still testing it, right? And I'm like backing it up and then going like this, and that light would turn on, but when I was standing right there in front of it, so it detects people when they go through there. It detects and the light just turns on, illuminates. So yeah, so I was just standing there and the light would go on. So I was standing there. I tested it for another 2-3 minutes, and the light would just stay on while I was standing there. But when I backed off, like all the way in the back, I looked at it again, and it all of a sudden just turns off. So I'm like, damn. Still, tested it. You know how you are, like. But yeah, I left. I left through that other door, and I grabbed my car and I bounced, and I just left. And so yeah. In the meantime, when I left, my mom was telling me the next day, right when I came back, she was telling me like I was watching my programs, and I could your room, like it sounded like you were still there, like the whole night you were still there, but you didn't come out to eat a snack or anything. That's what scared me because you usually come out and go to the kitchen and grab something to eat or something to drink, right? But you never came out. Like you just stayed in your room. So that was kind of like me thinking while I was watching these programs through the hours that were going by. Like we're not coming out. That's kind of that to me kind of gave me chills because I could easily would have went and I'd be like, "Hey, Adon, Aiden, are you there? Or are you in your room?" But I didn't do it because I was scared. I was really scared. So when I went to go get something to drink in the kitchen, I went in the kitchen. But when I was going in the kitchen, when I was walking towards the kitchen, I stopped and turned towards the hallway going to your room. It seemed like your light was on. So I mean, it looked like your light was on. Like it was on. When I looked towards the hallway, the the light from your room was illuminating the whole hallway because the hallway was dark, and I only had the light on in the living room, but not towards the hallway because the hallway was dark. But at the same time, it was the light. You could see the light from all the way down to your room, illuminating the hallway. So yeah, the light was on in your room, and I could hear bass, like the beat of the bass, boom, 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 from your room. Like I could hear the music that you always bump, but it wasn't loud, like high volume. It was just like medium volume, but you could hear just the bass, like from the music, and I could hear it like you were having a conversation with somebody, like if you were on your cell phone, and I was freaking scared because those 2 hours went by like that, and you never came out. It's like you could still hear movement, while I was sitting there in the living room eating my snacks and watching these programs, my telenovelas programs, and just sitting there watching the TV while I could hear you all the way down there if you were there. So it was very scary. Oh man, I was at that moment where I was like, I wish your dad was home. Your sister, of course, she was you know, in her room. She didn't come out either. That was scared me even more. But I know she was in there, you know. But I didn't cause that room where my sister stayed at. That room was right there in the middle of the living room and close to the door where you leave. So that's why she wasn't she was scared, but at the same time she knew my sister was in her room because she was just sitting there and she didn't hear any movements in my sister's room, but she knew she was in there. And there, she didn't come. She came down one time. She came down and to grab something to drink, and then she went back in her room. But my mom didn't notice that because she was already in watching her programs. So yeah, so she got up and she was getting ready to go to sleep, go to her room. And when she went to her room, she looked towards my end of the room, and she looked like the light this was still on, but the stereo was off. She didn't hear any more music. Like the music wasn't bumping, but my light was on. That's it. And she was she said that she was very scared, and she just walked in her room and just closed the door. And she probably thought I was outside now because I usually would be in my room, and then I would go outside and talk on the cell phone. It was those days when I told you in my last video that I had a flip. It was the flip phones. But yeah, I would. She would be like, "Oh man," she was just freaking out. But she was scared though. usually when I stayed in, when I would stay in my room for reals, and then I would like be in the house. She wasn't scared, but at that time she was scared. But at the same time, she thought I was there. So yeah. And then she said that my dad came back, but he didn't say anything. He just went in, he ate, and then he went to the room where my mom stayed at. So my mom didn't say anything until the next day. That's what she was telling me all this. And I was like, whoa, dang. I was like, I can't believe this because I wasn't home. I'm sorry if I didn't say I was gonna leave. You know, I apologize. I should have told you I was gonna leave to a carne asada. But I should have told you. And she was like, "Yeah, you should have told me. Why the hell are you just leaving like that too? I thought you were in your room the whole entire time. This is very scary because you weren't in your room, and your room, the light was on, and the stereo was on, and I was hearing you like a man having a conversation, and I was like, damn, because when I came back at 2 in the morning, the light, everything was off. The door was open, but I had the light on. I mean, I'm sorry, excuse me, guys. I had the light off and I had the stereo off. Like everything was off how I left it. So when I left it like that. But when I came back, it was still like that. And she was like, oh man, she was all freaking out. Like her hair was standing, and she was just like, oh my god, that's so scary. Please, people, please don't leave me by myself next time. Don't leave. If you're gonna leave, just let me know, please. And I was like, yeah, I'll let you know this time. I'll apologize, but that is freaky what you're telling me right now. Because with that, you told me you were experiencing that what you were experiencing that night, that last night. I'm not gonna leave you by yourself. I'm gonna stay in. Sorry. If I leave, it's because my dad is going to be here. So if I leave, then that means you're going to be a companion with my dad. So my dad would be with you, you know. So I won't leave you by yourself. My sister was in her room, right? But the girls, the teenage girls, man. They're all them. They won't. They'll just be like talking on their phone, also on their computer. They're doing their own thing. All separate from everybody else. But yeah, I told her I'm sorry. I won't leave you by yourself. I'll like that. I'll let you know if I'm in my room. So you won't be all scared because strange thing was. I'm sorry, I apologize again, but strange things were happening like that at that house, that corner house. So it's something to think about, and I still think like right now these days. And I would stay by myself in that house, and I would always feel like somebody was watching me. Like my mom and my dad or everybody would leave or go to the store, and I would stay by myself, or they would leave to go get something to eat or get something to eat and come back with it. While I was staying by myself in that house was scary. Like I thought when there was somebody like just standing there watching you, at all cost. Like I would sit in the living room and I could hear movement in the hallway. Like always in the hallway, you would hear footsteps. So that would be like this. That's like the scariest thing right there, because you're sitting there and you can hear movements all throughout the house. Like there was not even one movement. You could hear like a movement towards the living room and another movement towards the hallway. Like if somebody would be walking around, like you could hear footsteps like. When you're walking inside your house, if you guys have like carpet in your on the floor of your house, because that house was all carpeted, like it wasn't floor, like it wasn't tiles. It's more of a carpet type of house, and then you can hear when somebody walks through the carpet like that, like a normal walk, like you know. It was very scary, and I started to get sick a little bit too in that house. I started to experience a lot of, how do you say, like a lot of, like I would get sick with the flu a lot, and a lot of other stuff. That's unexplainable. It's scary. It's something that we had to get at. We had to leave that house because all that stuff was with bad luck too. You know, we had a lot of bad luck too. So that's another thing in that house. And then the last thing that we experienced while we were in that house, we experienced something like crazy. Like this would be the end of that story to fast forward it, because yeah, you would see a lot of movement. You could hear a lot of movement throughout the nights. You could hear people, like somebody having a conversation outside. You could hear knocks, bangs, whistles. Crazy stuff. That happened. And the last thing that I want to let you guys know about that Christmas night, that Christmas night was the scariest night of my life, because we were there, right? All right, I'm going to tell you guys this, but we were there. All the family was there. Well, my other sisters were there, but they were there during the whole afternoon and evening. And then when they left, they left like around. They left early. We weren't there that late. They left like around 8. You know, the people are my sisters and my brother-in-laws and stuff. They came, but they came early, and then they left like around 8 o'clock. And when they left, we all had a good time. We had Christmas, celebrating Christmas, and we were all sitting there. And I told them, "Hey, let's watch a movie. We're gonna." They were like, "Oh yeah, let's do this. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we should watch a movie." Yeah, so I know I'm gonna let you guys know that there one movie was an action movie, and then the next movie was a scary movie. So we watched the action movie first, and then the second movie would be a horror movie. So that second movie was a horror movie. So we were all sitting there in the living room ready to watch that first movie. So I put that DVD in, and we were all enjoying that first action movie. We were all just quiet watching the movie. Nothing happened during that time we were watching the movie. While we were watching the movie, you didn't hear anything around us or in the living room or nothing. Just our movements, or people going to the bathroom, but actual people going to the bathroom. Sorry. But yeah, we were sitting there, and right when we were done with that action movie, we put the horror movie next. So we successfully saw that movie, and then we took out the DVD out. We were done with it. We all got up, went to the bathroom. Some people went to go get snacks. We were all stretching, and then I'm like, ready for the next movie? And they were like, yeah, let's do this. Let's watch it. But I'm like, it's Christmas night, Christmas Day. So it's kind of weird. We're going to watch a horror movie on Christmas Day. And they were like, well, let's do it. Let's watch it. I mean, we want to watch that movie. I don't remember what movie it was, but it was a horror movie. I can remember it was a horror movie. I know the first movie that we were watching, the action movie, was called Four Brothers. And that was a good movie. I don't know if you guys watched it, but I recommend you guys watching it. It's a very, very, very good movie. Action-packed movie, too. But that second movie that we were watching, it was a horror movie. So we're all looking at each other because it's a horror movie. And this house is actually haunted. And it's Christmas Day. So we're like, should we watch it? And everybody was like, yeah, we should watch it. Yeah, I'm down. Let's watch it. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So I put the DVD inside the DVD player, and I ran to the couch to sit with everybody, and everybody was already done eating and going to the bathroom. So we're all sitting there in the living room. We're all enjoying and watching the horror movie. While we were watching the horror movie, we heard a little bit of noises, in the window in front of us. Like, not in front of us, but in the back of us. There's like a big, small, skinny window right across that door, a little bit across that door. And it felt like somebody went like this, like a little, I don't know if you guys heard that sound, but it went like that. And we looked back, but we were like, did you guys hear that? And my mom was like, and my dad was like, a little bit, yeah. It was just like a little light, tap, So, and usually my sister, my young sister, my teenage sister, was in her room. She didn't come out or nothing, but she was in her room, but the door was open in her room. But she closed it. She got up like it looked like it closed. She didn't want. She didn't want to watch the movie with us. She only watched the action one, but not the horror one. Like the horror, she was just like she just went inside her room because she said that she had to try to like just relax in her room and stuff. So she went inside to her room while we were watching the movie out here in the living room. But yeah, but she didn't hear anything though. We told her like, "Hey, did you hear that noise?" And she was like, she just screamed, "No, why?" And we were like, "Oh, never mind." So we continued watching the movie, right? That horror movie, and it was a scary movie. I remember we were all looking at each other watching it, but by the end of the movie was just done finishing. So the credits were already, there on the TV. So basically, we were all done with watching the movie. So yeah, we were just sitting there watching the credits and of the movie, and while we were sitting there, still just stretching a little bit, man, we heard a loud ass bang, like somebody hit that door so hard. The door from the outside of the entrance looked like they hit it so hard that it broke. Like you could hear, like like a glass shattered, like, but they hit the door so hard that the whole freaking house vibrated, man. Like it went so hard, like boom, like somebody hit it. They hit it with a baseball bat outside. I don't know, like that sound came from the entrance of the door, from the outside, or the same window that we heard a tap. But it just sounded so hard, like somebody hit it so hard, like we all jumped. I jumped out of the couch and fell on the floor, like what the fuck? We all, what the world? Looking at each other, dude. My dad, like strictly, like he was power walking towards the door. He opened the door, he walked out, and he ran like outside, like was running, like looking if somebody did it right. Somebody hit that with a baseball bat, hit it to the, it just swang towards the door and just boom. So he ran outside looking for somebody that actually was doing some type of some horror shit, and he was looking everywhere, but he didn't see anybody. So I kind of like, I was freaking, I froze because that sound scared the shit out of me. Like I was just standing there, like all froze up, and then I was like, oh hell no! What I did, you know what I did? Went to the garage, I was power walking towards the garage. I went inside the garage because I remember I had a baseball bat. I don't know why I had a baseball bat, but because I don't like baseball, but I had a baseball bat. And I grabbed the baseball bat, and I was inside the garage. I grabbed the baseball bat, and then powered walk out, again back to the hallway inside my house, and then I went around, and then exited out the front door and walked towards my dad because my dad was just, they were standing there outside in the corner of the sidewalk. And I was there with them, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck was that? And he was like, he was all freaked out, like, I'm still looking for that person. Was it a person? Or who was that? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it sounded like somebody walked up to the house and just like hit it so hard. Like you could, man, we felt the vibration of that hit too. Like, so we were looking at the door. We were looking at the door, and everything seemed pretty fine. Like we checked the door from top to bottom, and it seemed like nothing was broken. Like everything was all normal. Like, but my dad was like, the door should be broke because we heard it break too. Like, and everything was normal. Like there was not even a little tiny scratch. And I'm still thinking right now, I'm like, oh shit. So it's something very scary. Like my heart was pounding so hard. Everybody was just like all shaking. They were just standing there scratching their head. My sister that was in her room, when she came out, she said, I heard it so loud that I fell off my bed. Like I walked out, and I'm like, what the but when I walked out, you guys were already outside. And I heard it so loud. She was like, I heard it so loud in my room too. It freaked me out so hard. But we all heard it, right? And we were all outside, looking around because it was already dark outside. It was probably around 11:30 already at night, and we were just walking around, and yeah, it was scary. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys is my my friend passed through. Like he was going around, and I saw my friend. I'm like, he was crossing like going around like, and he went straight down that way. You know how my house, that house was in the corner of the road. They were they went through. They drove through around my house, and I saw my friend going straight down that way. And I'm like, I'm going like this because I noticed his car. You know, I saw his car, and he stopped a little further down the street. And he was reversing towards. He was coming back reversed, and I was like, "Come here," and then he was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" I'm like, "What are you doing over here?" I was like, "What are you doing over here at this time? It's 11:30." He was like, yeah, he was like, I wanted to kick it with you. And I was like, it's Christmas Day, you should be with your family, unless you never text me or called me. And he was like, why is your family out here? Why is everybody like outside, like all freaking looking around or looking, like if you guys lost something? I'm like, dude, did you do it? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, did you do it? It was like, what are you talking about? Did you hit that door so hard? I'm like, and he was like, no. What are you talking about? Like, this is the first time I'm cruising around through the house. Like, I'm cruising around over here. I'm like, dude, why are you cruising around over here at 11:30? And he was like, no, I'm just cruising around, just driving around. I'm like, that is hella weird, man. Like, wait, why are you doing that? And he was like, it's none of your business, dude. And I'm like, well, like, it's kind of weird that we heard this noise. We walked outside and see who did that, because obviously it sounded, obviously for us, we thought it was I mean, we still think it's still a person that hit that door so hard because it sounded so real. Like, it's real. It sounded so goddamn real. Like, if somebody did it. And I still believe probably somebody did it. I don't know. But he was just like, what the heck is wrong with you, man? Now you're accusing me if I hit your door? If I hit your door so hard with a baseball bat or something like that? Like, I mean, I don't know if you hit it with a baseball bat or it was with your arm or with your fist, but it sounded so loud, man. Like, we were almost crying, dude. And he was like, it wasn't me. Why would I do that, man? Why would I do, your friend do that to your house? Why would I do that, dude? It was hella bad because I was telling her, it was you, it was, I know how you guys are, you guys were mad, you guys are mad at me because of this and that, like and he would be like, it wasn't me, dude. I'm hella pissed now. You're faulting me, like, what's up with that, like you're telling me that I did it. I was like, then why are you what are you doing here at this time? And he was like, I'm cruising around like I told you. It's hella weird. Like, you need to tell me, man. And to this day, I still tell him. We still kick it and stuff. We're cool with each other, But I'm still telling him, like, hey, you remember that night, that long time ago, 2006, where I used to live, that corner house down there. He was like, oh yeah, yeah. Was it, man? Come on, tell me the truth, man. Wasn't it you? Come on, man. I'm not gonna be mad at you, man. I just need to know this. He was like, no, it's not me, dude. Like, why do you keep telling me this? I'm like, it's something really weird, Really weird, guys. So, yeah, that's the last part of the scariness that happened in the house. Right after we heard that bang, we were all freaked out and we were deciding to leave the house. So months would go by, we were not comfortable anymore, obviously. And we found another house. We were all happy. We were gonna rent. So we found another house for rent down at the other side of the town. And we were happy we were gonna leave. We didn't tell anything to the landlord about all the experience we had. But I don't know, he usually, it seemed like he knew something, And the rent back then wasn't cheap, it was still like at a regular rate of a rent. So it was still for us was like not that cheap to rent something like that because the house was kind of new. It wasn't new, but it was new. But that's what we would call like, oh, we're gonna go live to a new house, right? But yeah, it wasn't that cheap, but at the same time, he looked like he knew something about it. There's something going down in that house. Sometimes at this time, I'm sorry about that, guys. At this year, sometimes when I grab my car and leave, I would cruise around that corner house just to see, just to see it, and just to see how's that going. But to be honest with you, last time I drove down there, it was like 6 months ago, and it said for rent. Like to this day, no, it looks like nobody lives there to this day, and it says outside they have a sign for rent. Yeah, it's scary, probably other people that were there already uh, after we left. All those people that moved in probably experienced the same things or even worse and left. So that house wouldn't last for like not even less than a year. People would leave. And to this day, that house is for rent still. So I don't know. I haven't checked at this day or at this moment to go back over there and check it again. But yeah, if I do, then I'll let you guys know about it. But yeah, that's it, man. That's what I experienced. So hope you guys enjoyed the story. It's a little, it for us was very scary. And hopefully we won't experience that like that in the future. To this day, I haven't experienced anything paranormal like right now, but like the last few months back to last winter, I experienced a little bit of paranormal here in this house. Um, I'll save it to another video about what I experienced, but not like that though. Not like that. It was crazy. So yeah, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and like I said, if you guys have any